All of you have made towards the field of Super 8 and how you've helped me and my family and my company become what it is today. I can't thank you enough for coming tonight. You've always been there, you've always showed up, you've always trusted me with your projects, with your creativity, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate all that you've given me in terms of my career and what I've been able to accomplish. So thank you all for coming. And thank you all, my family, my friends, for allowing me to put your faces in my videos, to hound you with my cameras. And you know, I've been doing this now for 45 years. I know the company's 50 years old. I didn't start it when I was 15. The company actually started before me, and I came into it about 5 years after the company was running. So I have been at it for 45 years, and it's really been an exciting challenge to spend my time and put my creativity into something that I hope would last, and I'm hoping that it will go on for another 50 years. So thank you.
Well, Phil, when I walked into that dumpy office at 95 Harvey Street in Cambridge, when you and I first started dating, and you were like, I wonder if I can get this girl to give up her sales job and come work for me. I never thought we'd be standing here all these years later, decades later, in Hollywood. And as I look at all the logos and clips up here tonight, and I think about the amount of work that we have done and how we have, in many ways, transformed the film industry with a little home movie camera that most people only use to capture their family memories. It's been quite a journey, and thank you for taking me along. Thank you for not letting me go back and work at a college as an administrator. Not to say college administrators aren't important. So we have many people here tonight that we would like to honor because they don't usually get a chance to be honored. Present employees, past employees, and I sort of wanted to kick off the evening by asking two people to speak a little bit because we have a very long history with them. The original pillars of the company were built around film education and independent filmmaking. And as I decided who I wanted to ask to speak tonight, I decided first I would ask Professor Dan Jacobo from Chaffey College, who has been with us since the very beginning, followed by award-winning filmmaker, independent filmmaker, Ondi Timoner, two-time Sundance Jury Award filmmaker.
Wow.
And even though we have a very long history with them, they promised to keep their comments to 5 minutes. So let's start with Dan. Dan, come to the mic, please.
All right, Dan.
Go, partner.
Wow. I started in 1984 with, it wasn't called Pro8mm, it was Super 8 Sound, Cambridge, calling from the West Coast. I had to make sure I called 3 hours before because of the time difference, and I remember speaking first to Rhonda, and I was a student at the time, and I was trying to figure out how can I afford to make movies and still have the sophistication of the Hollywood style of multi-track audio layering and stuff like that. I didn't know what I was doing, but I really did. It was I bought a 4-gain synchronizer, the table, the whole thing, motorized, the whole thing. And I was in '84. And then flash forward, I'm a student at UCLA Film School, and I was so elated, so just so happy to find out that Phil had moved his operation from Cambridge, opened up a little shop on Olive here in Burbank. And then I think was it a couple of years later, moved to his present location. And I remember being a film student in film school at UCLA, working on my MFA, and talking to one of my professors. And one of them, you probably know who he is. He won the Academy Award one of the years that I was there. My first year at UCLA was Peter Goober, who had just won Best Picture for Rain Man. And I remember having a class with him on a Monday at his little cottage up in the hills up there in Mulholland. And we had to sit around on the table. There was 12 students, and we had to talk about what were some of the dynamics. And I mentioned that I was interested in using Super 8 film footage. And he looked at me and he says, well, that's kind of old. Isn't that stuff from the 50s and 60s? And here we're in the 1990s. I said, yeah, but I want to use it because I believe firmly that it is a viable format that you will see in the future. It's going to be cutting edge. And so I did my film thesis using Super 8. As a matter of fact, I bought my first camera here in Burbank. It was the Bully 7008S, S meaning sound. And I was like, who is this dude? Who is this? And my other professor, Howard Silver, and another one, Merle Schreibman at UCLA, and they're all still there. They're part-time adjuncts now. But one of them said, oh, look at Daniel, he's doing Super 8 film, and introducing me to other students. And one of the instructors said, he's an enigma. And so to use that term, enigma, means unexplainable. To a lot of people, Phil and Rhonda, they're enigmas in the industry. Because while everybody's running over here trying to do what's supposed to be cutting edge, 4K, before it was 2K, and then 5K, now 8K, then 12K, and who knows how many Ks. But the uncanny ability of these two working in tandem, man's an island, right? So it's like, and I know Rhonda because she's the one that she's a salesperson, because she had me buy all that gear almost 40 years ago. But Phil was the stoic, he's the one that's going to tell me this is the way it's going to be, and I'm going to listen to it. And I see his vision. I see he's not looking at today, he's looking at 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. That uncanny ability that Phil has to take a medium, yes, from the 40s and 50s and integrate it with current technologies, or whatever technology is out there right now. And I remember, I got to figure out how I'm going to show my film. We're having a student film festival at UCLA, how I'm going to do it. And then I remember that Phil said, well, I have a Sony telecine projector. And I said, transfer some of my stuff so I can screen at and the stuff that I screened, people were like, some of the other professors came up to me, production professors, I was in the producers program, came up to me and says, how'd you do that? How'd you get that film to project up on that big screen? And so I was literally teaching the teachers. And that was my first spark about, it was sort of like a harbinger. It was like something that a seed was planted that someday you're going to be a professor. So through these last, since '84, how many years did I lost count? I've grown with them. And every so often when I come up to the office and we sit there, we talk, we just chew in the cover about 2 or 3 hours, just talking about what's going to happen in the future. And what's the plan here? And one of the breakthroughs here is when Phil got rid of the PC computers and he went to Mac. And I go, oh, and I didn't even have to urge him to do that. It's like, this dude knows what he's doing, the Mac, But having the uncanny ability to move this format. Oh. Wow. I was a little heavier then. Yeah, so a few years ago I had the college buy a dozen of these Canon cameras. And so we had them synchronized. And so what I told my professors 20 years ago at UCLA, I'm implemented at Chaffey College. We're the only college in the state of California, it's a community college, And the course that I teach is Cinema 30 Motion Picture Production, and that course says in the course description that students will use Pro8mm film equipment and shooting on color and black and white reversal and negative film. It's the only course in California. And this year, finally, the new dean that came aboard saw my enrollments and said, we're going to add another course. Well, what course is that? We're going to add another section of your Cinema 30 course. And that course I wrote about 15 years ago. So it took about 15 years to see, because I had the vision. Just like, we're almost like twins, brothers, you know? Well, of course not, you know, I'm a little browner. But, so, roughly that's the story about film and my education and all that kind of stuff. Thank you.
Ondi, we've done so many beautiful projects with you over the years. We couldn't have this celebration tonight without you. So let's give a warm welcome to Ondi Timoner.
So I had the date wrong, and we came a month ago. Looked all around, all the rooms. You guys were not here. So I just gave Phil the card I brought a month ago. I'm going to keep it brief. It's been 25 years that so half of your history I've been coming. It's been like Christmas morning every time. I come in there, I'm in my 20s, I'm shooting my movie Dig. I got all this footage, I don't know what it looks like. I go in and I sit with Phil in a dark room, and he opens up pulls down this plastic, whatever, supposed to protect the equipment, lets me start rolling the dials back and forth. I'm melting the grain, and project after project after project was made by coming and working with Phil and Rhonda and Pro8mm. So I am so grateful. I think it was my brother David who I founded Interloper Films in college, and he said, "You got to shoot Super 8. It's got this great grain." And as was just said, there's 4K, there's 2K, it's clean, it's all about the cleanest thing. And Super 8 is perfectly imperfect. It's just beautiful. It has magical mistakes in it and imperfections, and Phil and I would literally just celebrate them together. And it was so formative to me as a filmmaker, through Dig, through Join Us, through Jungletown, where I won the Auteur Award from Kodak for work that we did together, Maplethorpe, starring Matt Smith, also just all I did, but I knew, okay, we have 19 days to shoot this entire script. I'm just gonna buy a lot of Super 8 and send it to Phil when I'm done, and it was the peanut butter for the bread. It was literally like wherever there was not enough of one, it was like there it was, So yeah, it's family, and I'm just grateful to be here, and so grateful to you for everything you've done to contribute to my career.
It's been a great one.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what you do next.
Well, the new one's coming out. I should just say it, because it's coming out really soon, because I'm leaving in 2 days. It's coming out on the 14th of October, and you guys have to come. Last Flight Home. Okay. Last Flight Home. It's about my father and my family. It's very personal, and it's getting an incredible release all over. So we'll be back here at Q&A and doing the Lemley thing at Monica and Glendale starting the 14th. No Super 8 because we didn't have time. Okay. So I apologize. There's only 2 films of mine that don't have Super 8. This is one of them, but you still have to come. What? Yeah, there is a little bit that you developed. Actually, yeah, thanks. Thanks, Morgan. All right, Morgan scored the movie. She's also my wife. We got married 2 weeks ago. And so, all right. For me. Oh my gosh. Oh.
You are family.
We are family, yeah. All right, these people are the gems. I mean, honestly, one more thing. When I was coming in, no one was there. Like, it was me and Neil Young. You'd say the only other person who comes in is Neil Young. And I was like, well, that's pretty good company. Like, all right, like, that's pretty groovy. And I don't know if you know the movie Dig, but it was shot over 7 years. So when I'm saying, like, I stopped in, I stopped in a lot of times. Like, he was just like, what is going on? This kid is out of control. And then it won Sundance and, like, whatever. We've been around the rosy a few times. So anyway, and then, one time I hit my camera on the side of a truck in Panama. And I came to see Phil because this has been like the Nizo camera that I use with the Zeiss lens. And he's like, here you go. And he just like whips out a new camera. You know, so yeah, another father to me as well. All right, much love. Happy birthday.
I think some of these people made it, but go ahead.
Okay.
Number 3.
What's the number 3?